Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you on this Wednesday afternoon. My name is Kyron. I work in our technical sales department here in Renningen in the south of Germany. And today I have the pleasure of going with you through one of our newer products for flat roof systems. It's going to be the D-Dome LS system, so long slide clamping in our Xpress setup, shall we say. So here we're going to be combining a number of aspects from different systems that we have, and we've put together a bit of a new product that has the advantages of the higher snow loads or weaker modules with the long side clamping combined with the Express installation process from our Express systems. So you're going to get a bit of a view of a few sides of things. We will have a bit of expected knowledge because we'll be reverting back to some of the previous systems that we've had or existing systems that we have. They're not going anywhere, the other ones. That's just what I wanted to say in terms of who we'll be targeting and how what the expectation is from today. I will be going through some of our material that you can see in front of me, but to go through some of our online components, I'm joined with me by Basti. Can you hear me, Basti? Are you there? Could you maybe present a little bit about
Hi,
something to look today?
Karen. I
Hello,
can
hello.
hear you perfectly. And
Perfect.
also a warm welcome from my side. Um, Now it works. Perfect. My name is Sebastian. I'm the area sales manager of Switzerland for K2. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. And I will show you the online part. And this is a quick overview of our website. Then we have a quick look in our product catalog. Also, some new online features we presented at the Intersolar a couple of weeks ago. And then I'll do the base quick planning with you and also do a quick price comparison between our classic LS system and our new Express version.
Super, Basti. Before we maybe jump into the website, maybe we just go through a few housekeeping things as well. So if you have any questions throughout today while Basti's presenting, I'll be here on our computer over to my left and answering those questions. Um, we appreciate them to be put into the Q&A section of your Zoom. So down the bottom, somewhere down the front here, you'll see a Q&A button. Any questions there, we can answer them directly. Everyone can see them, and you can. It's a bit more of a collaborative feel. If you have any questions you put in the chat, they just get lost a little bit as people have to scroll up and down. We will be using the chat to share links and any information that's for the whole audience today. So let's please keep that free. Also, if you haven't already seen, we have a survey that's just come up or it's been up since you've entered. We really appreciate the feedback from that because it just lets us know who we're talking to today, and we can then provide a little bit better information and potentially more specific information as well to you, the audience for today. So I think that's then about it. Basti, I will pass over to you and we can go through some of the parts from the website.
Thank you very much, Karen. So just give me one short second, then I
No
can
worries.
share my screen because I have the pleasure today to be in the home office. Normally, I'm also in this webinar room, but today I'll do it from home. But this also should work perfectly. This is our homepage. You reach it at k2-systems.com. Um, Here, in my opinion, we have /en because I normally have the web page in English, but for you guys, I do it in English, of course. Um, Here we have a quick overlook over our, yeah, let's say, different spare parts. I will start with the company if you need any further informations from us, like how's the company, where are the locations, what is our team, what are we doing in sustainability effects, do we have some news? You will all find it in this little company slide here. Then we, of course, provide you with digital services like MyK2, but we will have a closer look later. And here you'll find also a short link to Base and to the Doku app, where we'll also explain something later to you guys. Here, similar almost to our product catalog, you will find our different mounting systems. So you will have in at our homepage a quick overview, what systems do we have, in which cases we can supply, and in which systems we can help you. In this case, we are in the flat roof sections with our new Dome LS, but we also, of course, have a pitched roof systems, facade systems, also ground mounted and carport systems. Here in this area, you will also find the accessories, which are somehow common or you sometimes need them, like our measuring set for the friction coefficient. But I will explain it later a little bit more when we do it in base and what this is about. And also, which is often common and often asked, we have here separately like lightning protection and equip functional bonding. It's like more or less a big book with all our systems, how you can do the lightning protection, how you can do the equivalent bonding, what works and what does not work. And here is everything more or less written down for almost all our systems. If you have here some deeper or more questions, feel free to contact us. In our knowledge and training center, we have here also our webinars, of course, but also our K2 training. And this is separated in like three different levels. You have a bronze, a silver, and a gold medal. And there you can learn on your own in the train with the handy or in the office when you're allowed to, of course. And there we have some short videos, some questions about the systems, and then you can reach like different levels just to get a better knowledge of K2 and how the mounting systems are working. If you need a contact directly to us, you will find it here, and you will also find here all our distributors in every country. Um, we have some, of course, which we also introduced at Intersolar is here our chatbot. He's called Kai. Kai is currently learning because he is, in some cases, he is like in the kindergarten, let's say, and in some cases, he's already in high school. You can also switch this to English, of course, with this button here. And then when you cannot reach us, or when it's weekend, or if you have just a short question when you're at the construction site and you don't have, I don't know, or you don't reach your wholesaler or you don't reach us, in what case ever, you can also try to find a solution for your questions via our AI chatbot. You'll find it on the homepage. When you're on there with your mobile device, you will find it as well. Here at our homepage, when you click here on the top right side, you will get directly to the My K2 cockpit. Just give me 1 second. I will translate it in English because in my case, everything is in German. Okay. Normally you can switch it in English, but I can't reach it because the screen of my laptop is too small, unfortunately. But there's just one big thing I want to tell you, and this is our Docu app. Normally we have a 12 years warranty on all our systems. But when you do the planning in base and you later on upload the K2 file or the report you get in base in this Docu app, you will expand your warranty up to 20 years. So you will get for free like 8 years more warranty just when you use this Docu app, which is very cool because this Docu app you can also upload any other like um, the painting from the inverter, for example, or when you do a string plan, or when you do the PV soul planning. So you can upload everything there and you can handle it from the Stockholm directly all in one to the customer. And there you can collect like all your stuff. But the cool thing is, as I said, is that you expand your warranty from 12 to 20 years. Here you will reach our product catalog. I've opened it here. In this product catalog, you have also here at the mounting system all our different system. Or when you go on the scope of application, you will also find when you just know, oh, I have a pitched roof, but what do I need? You can click here on roof tiles and you will find everything which goes directly with the roof tiles. But in our case, we'll have a close look at our Dome 6 system. So I just click on it. And on the first page, you will find the components. Of course, everything which is needed for all our flat roof systems, and you will find it here. You can also search here for component type, for example, or the system orientation, like single pitched or double pitched, and also directly via our here system variants, which we provide. In this description page, you have always a short overview over the system on its own. And when you go a little bit deeper, then you have all our different systems here. I just click on our new Dome 6 Xpress LS system. And there is one thing I want to tell you because it is only possible for modules with 1134 millimeters in the widthness of the module. Because in this case, we provide you with a 10-degree incline, and because we have here an end clamp and here an end clamp, and this one here is fixed. I hope you can see my mouse. And this one here is also fixed, but Kyron will explain it later a little bit more detailed than I do. And this is one thing what you need to concern about, that it's also just plannable with this type of modules. With when your model is like smaller or bigger, it's not in base and you can't find our system there. Here we have the technical data of all our Dome and S-Dome systems. I just go through it. Then you have some paintings here as well, of course. And here you have as well a quick link to our K2 base. In the download section, you will find also all the product brochures, the accessories, and which is necessary. And we always say this as well, the assembly instructions. You will find here the assembly instructions, of course, for all our systems, but also for our new Dome 6 Express. Dome 6 Express LS. Okay. I already opened it because it's not in there. It will be in there soon. You will find it as well when you do the planning with our components, the D-Dome 6.10 LS, the base set. And here you have also the assembly instruction, of course. I will just open it in English. And in this assembly instruction, there's not just how you build the system, there are also some necessary general like safety informations and necessary informations you need really to look up at the construction site, like where is really the thermal cut, after which amount of meters in the width and in the length of the structure, and also all the tools you will need to set up the structure. And generally, there are as well like really basic and good informations for our system, what you really need to look for when you build it. Okay, Karen, I will handle over to you that you can show our visitors our new Dome-based 6LS set.
Super. Thank you, Basti, for that. And maybe just one little thing to clarify as well, because a question came up and it's good for everyone. The use of the DocuApp for this 20-year warranty, it's not just for this LS system, it's for any projects that you do. So if you have the base report and the base planning, and then you've done the installation and use the DocuApp, then the 20-year warranty is within the documentation of the DocuApp. All right. So let's jump into it. You can see some of the products I have in front of me. I'm just going to do a really quick refresh of what the Dome system is for maybe if we have some people who are not used to K2. And here we have just a little sample size, which we can jump to. We have an Xpress version, which this is the sample of. Our mat S is in contact with the ground. Our basic rail will sit between 2 meters and 4 meters or 8 meters, depending on how long the system is. Our SD will sit at the bottom end, and then we will have, for the Xpress system, a base plate on the top end. Installation with the Xpress is really straightforward. You put in our peak, and then there's a click, and that's the installation. So what we've been trying to do with the combination of the system is utilize this quick installation process with the LS long side clamping and the benefits of that. Due to just the way the system was developed, that wasn't possible or isn't possible with the Xpress system, the original Xpress system. So we've taken a few ideas from it and we've changed a few little components, and we've come up with something a little bit different. So one of the key or differences is that if we have a look at the two peaks now, you'll notice that the one I'm holding is the new peak. It's a little bit taller. You'll also notice at the bottom, there's no, it's a little bit narrower as well. So there's actually less material that's required. There is no hole at the bottom. So in the original setup, this product is suitable for being installed in the Express version, but in the normal version, and this peak is not. So this is only going to be installed in this new product. The other difference is the SD. We've got an SD that's installed already in here, and we'll have a bit of a now comparison with the newer one. You'll notice that there's no lip on the bottom, so it's less material this way. If we compare it from the side as well, you'll also notice that it's narrower. So we're using less material here as well. And there's no T section in it. You can't really see it in here, maybe you can. There's a little T at the bottom to hold it in. This is not really necessary for this version because we have just installed it in a slightly different way. So the original setup, you could buy them all together or you could buy them separately and you could put them together. With this new version, it's just the one base set. So you can't buy this peak separately. You do get these peaks, or you don't get the small ones, but you do get the big ones. And what you'll end up getting is a bar that's about this long, which is just over 2 and a bit meters. And on the low end or the SD end, we have the SD, which works at the same way as our other SDs. Let me just slide this one in. So our clamp is going to sit in here. And then our module is going to come from here right up into the middle. So if you remember before I said it was a little bit narrower, that's because with the original product, we could usually put modules on one side and the other, and we needed a little bit of space in here for that. We needed a wider one. However, with this setup, we are only ever going to be placing the modules on this lip here. So this is a little bit longer, but we don't need the space on either side because we're never going to have a module effectively coming out this way. The module is always just going to end here. Right. On the top end, we're going to have our peak, and the idea of the peak, what we wanted to have is an easy installation process. If you remember from before, there was a turn and click function, right? So this is going to be a little bit different. There is still a click function, but there's no turn, so it's even easier, I would say. And you'll notice that there's a little like a little lip that sits in here, and so we can put our peak in, and that's the click effectively, right? So if you did come to Intersolar, you might have even seen this. So it is quite firm in here. It is possible to come out, but it's not really the design process of it. Once you've installed it, it's pretty much done, right? So our module is then going to lie in the same concept, in the same way as the one down the other end. From here down to the low end where we're going to place our module. And this is what Basti was saying before, that this is only suitable for modules of 1,134 millimeters, because this distance from here back down to here is set based on that module length. So you'll notice here now we have the one side, and then to do on the other side, it's exactly the same. We can just put it in a click, and we're done. Right. And you see there's a sort of a little bit of wiggle room or a little bit of flexibility. So when you do put the module on, it will sort of push up a bit. But then as you're tightening it down, it's going to grab, and it's the force that's pushing kind of this way is stopping it from effectively coming out. Or by coming out, I mean coming back down, because we're going to be, as it pushes in, and when you have a weight on top of it, it's going to be pushing sort of back towards the middle. And so it's a toolless, effectively, installation for this part. And then it's just going to sit there quite securely, because you're going to have your 30 kilos of the module on top. And if you have any snow as well, then that's just going to be sitting on top and pushing it down. Other than that, there's not so much that's really different from this system to then the other LS system that we have. So we'll have 2 of these rails per module, right, underneath the module itself. So roughly 1/4 or maybe 1/5 from the large, usually with the larger modules, from the ends of the modules. We're then going to put a cross bracing layer in between them just to support the system. And actually, we've got a second one, so I might just grab one of them so we can have a little look. And so this will be shown in the base project, and Basti will show this a little bit later as well. So we're going to have our module sitting on here with our extra peaks in there as well. And then we're going to have a bracing layer that runs across between multiple rows. And the reason for this is that every panel, and in the east-west setup that we have here, we're working in a double panel. Every double panel requires X amount of ballast, as per the wind calculation, as per the building height. This is all shown in the base report. When you have one row of panels, it's fitted, or it's calculated as a sort of individual setup, and this one row by itself needs more ballast than if it has a neighboring row and that they are combined. Effectively, the weight of these panels contribute to the weighing down of the neighboring panels over that side, or maybe back this side. And all of the system as a whole needs less ballast per square meter if it's a larger block. And this is just sort of a general rule. The larger the block, the less per square meter you will need. So we will run a connecting rail across multiple base rails using our single rail, a climber, and a MK2. And so the MK2 installation process, if you haven't seen that before, it's really straightforward. It's a product we use on every channel pretty much, so you can even put it on top if you wanted to. We're not going to do that for this one. We can put this in. Our climber is going to sit with the, I would say, the lip of the climber in the channel, and then it's just going to be tightened from above. And we will do this now on all of the rails, and we'll then usually run, if we've got a system like this, which you could put up to 12. Sorry, I think with this one you go up to 18 meters long and 16 meters in the other direction. You'll put as many of these as required to link up all of the rows of modules, and you kind of create one secure block that needs less ballast overall, compared to just having one individual row that would then require a little bit more ballast. Other than that, there isn't so much that is new, but things that we can maybe just go on to a little bit more. If you wanted to put a module further down the rest of the screen, we're using the same process that we have, and sorry for our other excess system, but I think I've just lost a split pin. No, I haven't. So we might just jump down here. So if we want to put a second row of panels or a second row of modules, I can say we then have just a little split pin which sits into into this little hole here, and then we can put our split pin in, and then our second one will just extend further out as well. So the speed of installation is made up with the peak that we've put in before, and then you put these rows at the end of this little rail connector at the end of every set, and then it just goes on. You build your modules further down the roof. The other idea or concept that we have, we obviously need to measure the distance between these two rails, and to do that we have the speed spacer. This is a nifty little product. This is just a sample. Usually they come in 2.5 meters up. I think the biggest one is in the 3 meter length. What you do is you measure the panel on one side. You can loosen these and slide them up and down the rail, measure it on one side, and then flip the panel over, the product over, and this just sits in the rail. So it's a nifty little product because I don't know if we have a second one which we can show it. No, I just wanted to, thanks, class. The thickness of this top side that we're measuring the panels with is the thickness of the clamp. So effectively it's saying we measure one clamp from side to side, and then once we've flipped it over, this thickness is the same thickness as the rail channel that we're putting it in. So the center will always be at the center. So the center of the bolt will align with the center of the bolt. And when the panels are sitting, when the rails are sitting with our other setup, with our classic system, where you have one rail between panels, then you can use this to space your rails out as per your module lengths. It works the same way with this long side setup. You can just measure usually you can just measure the short side of the panels rather than the long side, or you can just set a distance spacer between the two, or measure center to center and then just put them in the rails. And what you do is usually buy 4 or 5 of them. You can put multiple in the rails. They're all in then parallel. If you've got multiple ones, take one out, do the next rail, align that next rail, take out then this one and do the one even further, and just build your way across the roof. So, so this is a product for all of the systems that we have, not just this LS system not just this Xpress LS system, but one of these ideas and tools that we have to make the installation process as fast as possible. Other than that, everything else works pretty much the same. You can use anchoring with this. You can use ballast with this. Lightning protection is a possibility. The Terragriffs, which I had here before as well, work exactly the same. So these just sit underneath the panel, and we can slide them in as such. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a combination of these two different systems to try and get as much advantages out of the Express side, but also with this long side clamping, which is great for the larger modules, or for modules or projects you have where the snow load's quite high and the module manufacturers have specified that you need to clamp on the long side rather than on the short side. So, Basti, before I pass back to you, was there any questions that had come up, or anything that we could go through in a little bit more detail, do you think?
Yes, there was one question from Emil. The question is there any possibility to add an extra rail or support for the module if the wind or snow load is too high for the module design load?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, in the software, which you'll go through, the base software that you'll go through later, Basti, this will automatically give you 2 rails per module, but there is nothing stopping you putting a third one in. So you could, and maybe Basti, you could go through this a little bit. If you wanted to do that, you could just add 50% more of these base sets, 50% more of the
Yes.
teaks, 50% more of the clamps. You're not going to need any more bracing rails, but you would need to do it. You probably actually wouldn't even need an extra connector. They could just, that would be suitable in there. So what we specify is the minimum requirements for the specific system. And if you ever want to add more ballast or more rails or more mat S to distribute the pressure, or in this case, an extra rail, this is always a possibility that can be done. Yeah.
Perfect. Emil, I hope this answered your questions. And the other one I just answered via chat, so there's no more question open.
Okay.
Then I will um, share my screen again and put on, of course, the camera again. And we will have a closer look to our Express system in base. I hope you can see my screen, but I
Yep,
think it
we can
should
see it
work.
now.
Perfect. This is a building like right next to our main quarter in Malmsheim. It's next to Stuttgart, and it's like a flat roof. I think it's a foil roof. And this side here is depends on the country you're in or the country you're planning. So it looks different in Italy, it looks different in Switzerland, it looks somewhat different also in Spain or any other region. I just go here quickly through, but what is the same? When you put here in automatic, normally everything is also pre-filled. And the ground level is pre-filled, the failure consequence is pre-filled, and also our design working life. The only thing we need to change here in Germany is the terrain category. In this case, it's terrain category 3, so it's like suburbs or industrial or commercial buildings, let's say. Here we have also the wind load and the snow load, and also the snow load on the ground level. If it's necessary, you can here upload a drone picture. In this case, when you like measure the building with a drone or when you have like a better image of the building itself, because we use for our, let's say, picture or the planning side always this Google satellite stuff, but when other provider can give you a better picture, you can drop it here. Then you get like two arrows, a green one and a red one. And then you measure like the length of the building with the red arrow and the green arrow. You do it in the picture you upload, also in the picture which is in our planning system. And then the both pictures like go together and you can plan on your own better picture if it's necessary and if you want to. But normally when you do the planning, you always start here. You have the differentiation of the different roof types. In our case, it's a flat roof. And as you can see, it's a rectangle roof. I think it's a membran and sheet material. So I will go further with the membran. I will just paint the building like this. Kyron was there. He said it's 10 meters high. We don't have an inclination, so it's flat. Kyron, do you want to add something? Nope. The purport wall height, it's 10 centimeters, let's say. And here, everywhere, normally in base, you have this small gray marks with a question mark inside. And if you don't know what to fill in, you have always here a short description what we mean with that. So basically, we plan our Express LS system, or it is pre-assembled with a mud S. And this mud S on a foil or membran roof, it's like the friction coefficient of 0.5. So for the first planning, you can put in here 0.5. But sometimes it really makes sense because And when the coefficient like gets higher to 0.6 or 0.7, you will need less ballastation on the roof for the system itself. So as higher as it gets, as less um, I'm sorry for that. The less ballast you need. It's like exponential. When you have 0.1, you need a much higher ballastation for the whole system itself than when it's like at 0.3 or 0.4 or 0.5. I showed you on our webpage, we also can provide you with a measurement set. Then you can like measure it on the roof. And also, when you have a higher coefficient here, you need less ballast. Also, the system-wise gets even cheaper because you then also need less stones for the ballastation. When you want to set up here another length, a length of the building and the building width, you can always only do it like in the not in the 3D model. You can always do it just in the 2D model. You can just click here in. When you measure like 105 meters, then you can add it here. And here, let's say we do 94 meters. You can jump back here on the satellite image, then you can double check it. If it's okay, then you can click further on. Then you have here a short load table from the loads on the roof of the building. And in this button, you can add obstacles. Here we have a couple of roof windows. I will just paint the first one in like this. And you can also put here an offset. So this is like an area where you don't can or where you don't want to add modules, just like this. Then it gets like a little bit red around the obstacle. And when you click here on detect similar obstacles, base will check the roof itself and detects almost every obstacle. With this detection tolerance, you can go like down, then it detects nearly everything, or you can go up and then it detects really nothing. So sometimes you need to find here a sweet spot, just like this, for example. Then we can double check it. And this one looks almost perfect. No, it does not just look almost perfect, it is perfect. So we have here every window in, and then we just can go further. But with this minimal offset, we have it just in here. If you want it on every roof window, you need to click here first add, and then you have it in every roof window, just like this. So you just need to put it in once, then it copies it, let's say, and it's a much easier planning for bigger roofs like this. When you here go back in the 2D mode and you measured it from the right side, for example, and from the top side, and then you can always here change it just like this, or also just like this, because normally you do the measuring from one side and then go down. You can do it with this button, and when you go back, then you have the length and the width of this obstacle, and you can go back here to the 3D view, but you can also, of course, plan it in 2D. I will just click further now. Just like this. I also um, For the comparison we show you later regarding the price, I put a module in here, so you can always just plan with one module in one project. It's not possible to do like different modules. You can do it when you put in here a user-defined module, for example, like this. Then you can also plan with another module on on the same roof. Just loads real quick. I just refresh it. But we have here a longer one. And you can also change it here. But when there is normally this list is like gets refreshed from time to time, and normally there are all modules in, also the old modules if you have or if it's necessary to plan with an older module. But when it's not in this list, you can always click on user-defined module. Then you can add your own module and with the length, with the width, with the frame height, with the weight, and with the power output. But when you do it like this, then it's not possible that you do the short link to the inverter and, for example, to PV or other planning programs because they normally need the electrical stats also from the modules. And this is here from this database. It's always in the background when they're in the list, and when you use it as a user-defined module, then it's not possible. You will find our DOME LS system in the DDOME 6.1 section. We always recommend you to plan with a module array and not with the complete roof. If you want to, you can always do this, but in this case, you are more flexible. Then, of course, it's elevated, and we just provide the system in the landscape version. Then you have here the different variations of the DOM 6.10. We just click here on the Xpress LS one, push the add button, and then we can make it like this. And then more or less the roof is done. What we also recommend always is this button here, because it automatically like fits the module like this planning to the real size of the module arrays. When you want to delete it, you can make it here with the trash can, but you can always also, when you have like a smaller field, I'm sorry for that, when you have like a smaller field, for example, like that, you can always also, for example, just couple the modules and put it here. In this case, this is perfect because of this thermal cut. I will go in this section in one moment. And what is also always preferred, but you can change it, is this minimum roof edge distance. When the building is higher than 5 meters, it's always at 0.6 meters. When it's smaller than 5 meters, or when it's not that high, you can also put here in like 0, and you can go here directly to the let's say wall of the building, just like this, for example. Why we have the 0.6 in here? It's because our systems, they're all from a wind tunnel testing. And with this wind tunnel and our, let's say mathematics, we calculate the ballast you need on the roof. And when it's higher than 5 meters, this 60 centimeters are required because of the wind, which go to the wall and then like gets wobbly here and go under the modules and want to lift them up or the whole system up. You can also change the color of the clamps here if you want to, but normally it's black. And with these buttons, you can switch the thermal cut. Then you can go just like this, exactly to the middle. But if you want to do it manually on your own, you can also do it, for example, like this and like this with a double click. And you can take this one out, for example. So you're free to change the thermal cuts in the way you want to, but we always recommend do this module fields as big as it's possible, because when you have a larger module field, you need less ballast overall on the whole system. You can do it in the vertical separation and also in the horizontal separation, of course. Here in the last page, you found our the system and the ballastation you will need. I will just zoom in. If it's necessary, you can, of course, also use a roof anchor. For example, when there is not much capacity for the roof, that where you can put on more weight, then you can have here a variations of different anchor. Now also our system is comparable with the Seeker roof anchor and all others in here. And you can always, when you don't want to have weight on it, then you just click here, the ballast replacement, everything. And then you just have the whole system, for example, with an anchored version. If it's necessary, you can add here lightning clamps. You can also add here the equipment bonding stuff. Also, when you need optimizer, for example, for Huawei or the Solar Edge system, you can also add them here. And also this red big rail, which Kyron showed us before, our dome speed spacer, where you can do the measurements between the two rails. If it's necessary, sometimes you can also add the older Mod S and with this Mod S tool, but it's not common for the Xpress version because it's pre-assembled, but maybe for the classic version, you can also add here a tool which will help you to fit in our Mod S for the protection of the roof itself. When you have a low insulation or it won't handle that much pressure, you can also click here to add additional Mod S. So the whole system on its own will get more Mod S, and so the ballastation or the ballast of the whole system has a bigger has a like there's a more Mod S, and then the whole how to say it in English? I'm sorry for that. When you add more Mod S, for example, then the weight of the system is like evenly on the whole rail and not just on some points. And in some cases, then it will fit also the insulation on the roof. In our case, there is something overloaded. We will check it, but this is just okay, I know. Sometimes when you have this fault, when the system here with the suction is overloaded, that sometimes mean that this thermal cut here is too small and this is then suction overloaded, and then you need to move the thermal cut like this. It's still overloaded. Just give me 1 second, then I will do it like this, and now the suction is also good. Here you can check the loads on the modules, and this is what is required when you have the differentiation of the normal LS version or the classic version or the normal Express version and the classic LS version. Because with these indicators here and the instruction guide from the module array, you will need or you will find then the loads on the modules, the usability, and if this is too high, when you do the short side clamping, you need to switch to the long side clamping. And this is what the system is made for. Here on the summary, of course, we planned our roof 3. You will have the quantity of the whole system. Here you can always generate our report, export it to Excel when you need to upload it to a web shop. But we have also here our wholesaler web shops for the different wholesalers which are in your country. When it's need to, you can also export it directly to the Docu app, which is linked to your account for the extension warranty. Here you can also do the inverter design. And Kyron and me, we did a short comparison here before. It's more or less, it is the same roof, as you can see here, with the same amount of modules. And as you can see, our LS version compared to our normal LS, which you need to build on site. The Express version, of course, is a little bit more expensive, but you save at least like 50 or 60% of the time for the installation. And yeah, Karen, that's it so far from my side.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Did I forget something?
I don't think you did, but we had a question pop up that I thought maybe we could go through that. And one of the things we mentioned before was if someone wanted to add a third rail here, which items would they look to add, and how could they add that in the summary page?
Yes, you can always click here to the edit POM. And as we said before, when you want to have like 30% or 33% more from the space set, you can always here change the number, of course. I will just grab my calculator. So 656 rails. Teilt durch 2 mal 3. Then you need here like 984. For example, when you want to add always one more in the middle. And then you, of course, also need to change this number. Separate those 2 mal 3, 1986.
I think you need 50% more rather than 33% more, Basti.
50% more. Okay, just give me 1 second. Then we do it just like this. 1312 mal 2. Then you can add, but you can add here the number in whatever number you want to do, like
Now I think
600.
we're doubling up our maths on this one, but
Yeah, yeah. But if you want to do and edit the bomb, you can always do it here.
yeah,
Edit the bill of material with this button. You can click on it, and then you can always put here the amount of parts you will need, for example, and then it turns like here slightly green because this shows, okay, here we changed something or you changed something, and in this case you can always like edit the bomb how you want to. If you want to do a quick calculation for the whole system and you have, for example, a discount you want to give to the customer, you can also do it, for example, like here. Then you have the discount rate here included, and it also goes directly here in the system.
yeah. I think it's also a good point as well. If you are buying from us directly and you already know the purchasing rate, you can use this to get a good and quick quotes without actually having to be in contact with us. Basti, we had some questions that popped up as well in regards to the pressure. And I think then on the results page, there's this option now to put in the maximum pressure of the of the insulation. We had a question from Bengt Morton in regards to, is this the dynamic pressure or the static pressure in terms of just the dead weight or the dead weight plus the snow load? Off the top of my head, I actually don't know that one. So maybe Basti, to you, or we can come back to you. Or... All right, we
I
might.
unfortunately also need to say I don't know it.
Yeah, I believe it is the weight including the snow load. However, yeah, I'll send you an email, thank Morton, because I know we've been in contact before, and we can clarify that one. And then the other question I think was from Emil as well. We've got a lot of Nordic guys today. Hey everyone. In regards to the pressure for the third rail. So if you do add a third rail solely for reducing this pressure, I would say it's a little bit of an excessive way of doing it, because the weight on top of the modules due to the snow is going to be constant. And in a way, it creates like a point load underneath the SD and underneath the peak. And this point load is then distributed over the mat S. And this is where we get the pressure values from. So one way we can decrease that pressure is to increase the surface area. And the easiest way to do that is to add an extra mat S. So the button that's just below this pressure point, maybe Busty, you can show it, the additional mat S button.
Additional MLS button?
Yeah, we'll put a second mat S in every position, and we'll reduce the pressure by about 50%. So you're not going to see that until you get to the report. And if you
Yeah,
want to
and
do it,
then
yeah.
and here we have like this Mat S extra for the space set.
Yeah, and so in this case, it's going to be for every base set or where we need it, which is usually under the peaks, because the peaks have 2 half modules on them effectively, whereas the SDs only have 1 half module on it. So the SDs are already like not the weakest part, or the part with the highest pressure. So it acts a little bit different for each different system, but this would be the easiest way of doing it. We actually also have a new product as well, which we can
Our
show.
load solver. I can also like stop my screen and then you can show it in big.
Yep, that'd be good. So when I know we're going a little bit off topic here, but it's a really good question, because this is also part of the long side clamping. If you do have a insulation where the pressure value is, I don't know, maybe 45 kilopascals or 60 kilopascals, and in base you get a value that's way over that. If you have the classic system or the Xpress system with the short side clamping, the easiest thing to do is then go long side clamping, because you're going to effectively double the amount of contact area, which means halving your pressure. If it's then still too much, you can add the extra mat S, which I don't have one on me, but would just sit underneath here as well as this one. So here we have 1 mat S, we could have 2 mat S. If it is still too much, we actually have a new product that is the load solver, and I'll just put it in front. Actually, so it sits this way. And the idea is you can add these to supplement the mat S, or even replace the mat S, because if you put multiple ones, maybe let's say 5 here, we're actually going to now triple our surface area. If you imagine all these ones are here, instead of having this 1 mat S. So we're going to increase our surface area by 200%, which then should decrease our pressure by 66%. And installation for this, so this would be a product that's sold separately. And it just kind of clicks in, and then you can just put in as many as you want over the rail. So in terms of adding extra material solely for the insulation side of the system, first recommendation would be the mat S, extra mat S, and then potentially one of these products elsewhere. At the moment, to get this, or to calculate this, you have to contact us, and our internal technical sales team will determine how many of these you need and where to place them, because that's the other thing. It's not going to be uniform. If you have a ballasted system, there is more ballast on one section than another section, so you might only need it under the ballasted regions rather than under the whole part. So the team will be able to put together a detailed layout as to where you need these and how many of them. So just another service we offer. Busty, I saw that there were some more questions, but they're
Yes.
way over there. Could you maybe could we answer them, or should they be typed, or what's the go?
There's one more question from Bengt Morten Olufsen. On the other side, the snow always builds up on the lower end of the panels. I think you also asked a question before,
Yeah,
which you answered.
yeah. So just on that one, yeah, there will be more snow load on the lower end, and maybe I can just pull this one over. And this, we're getting a bit messy here. I'm sorry, but we've got a lot of material. So yeah, you're totally right. Bang Morton, you've got your panel that's going to sit here, and maybe we can just swap camera, and you're going to have effectively a high snow load over here, but this snow load is not going to be, sorry, the snow load is already distributed just between this full mat, whereas on the top end, you're going to have half of the snow load and half of the module on this side and half of it on this side as well. So yes, there will be more snow down the lower end, but as the system is built up the way it is, you'll have more surface area per module on the lower end than on the higher end. And so that's how the calculation is being done. And also, if you do even need them, you can put these on the lower end as well. So it's yeah, something to be aware of, but it's compensated for the way the system already works. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then, Basti, was there anything else that had popped up? Any other questions?
No, the one from Emil, I think, I don't think you saw it. How much pressure or how much will the pressure and Pascal volume decrease if I add an extra rail
Yeah. So that again, we're going to increase
from
our
the
surface
original
area
volume?
by 50% here, and so then we're going to take away. It'll be about 33% decrease in pressure value in the base report. But you could, as I said before, you could compensate for that by adding extra mat S, which is going to be a lot cheaper than a full extra rail.
Perfect. And I think that's it from the question you. There's also one question from Bank, study or dynamic. Yeah, but you answered it.
Okay.
Nope, no more questions.
All right. Well, then I think we begin to wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining. I think we're just going to put another survey up as well because a little bit of feedback never hurt anyone. It helped us provide a bit of a better information of how you thought today went, and also then hopefully we can improve it for next time. So if you do have a few seconds, you could please answer that. Sorry, so we can improve on the future. And speaking of the future, that was my segue. Next week we're doing a webinar on trapezoidal roofing. So it'll be more of a introduction to K2 products, introduction to K2 base. If you have not used trapezoidal roofing before, or you're new to the basic rail system and some of the concepts we use that, we'll be talking about our basic clip, which I have here actually. Lovely little product, one of the K2's most unique products, I think. We'll be going through all that same time, same place next week. And then I think we're probably pretty much finished. Just a time for some thank you. So Basti, I know it was a bit spontaneous that you joined in this one, but I think it went
It
quite well.
it was very spontaneous, but the webinar next week will not just from us, it will be together with Kingspan, I think.
No, that's just German one, actually.
Oh, that's just a German one. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Unfortunately, just a German one.
but
Okay.
that's, yeah, good to know. Um,
Also,
sorry, yeah, you go.
thank you from my side, and thank you, Kyron.
Super. Well, then on that case, we'll begin to end up. Klaus is the only man that needs thanking now as well. He makes it all magic happen. So big thanks to Klaus. And we hope to see you sometime in the future, whether it be next week or sometime later than that. We'll be here and hopefully can bring something for you. Until then, ciao.
Ciao.